Hey there, adventurers. Welcome to the Proving Grounds. I'm your host, Phil, aka JC Servant, and this is your home for CRPGs, blobbers, and traditional roguelikes. Here at the Proving Grounds, we're more than just a YouTube channel or a podcast. We are a book club, but for games, strategy-heavy games. We pick a couple of games at a time and dive in together and share our experiences primarily through Discord channels. And even when we move on to new titles, we leave those old conversations open so anyone can jump in who might be experiencing some of these things at a different time than we are. Every week on the podcast, I share highlights from our community chats, offer insights in the genres we love, and answer your questions. And speaking of the genres, I want to take a moment out to discuss exactly what I mean by CRPGs, blobbers, and traditional roguelikes, because those are what we really focus on. And we focus on the old and the new and everything in between. So I want to talk about that just a titch. So at the Proving Grounds, we focus on essentially tabletop games that are played on the computer, if that makes sense. Okay, so back in the old days, back in the 80s, computer games, computer RPGs were primarily an effort to emulate the tabletop experience to some degree. And that is where the idea of like CRPGs come from. We focus on those types, which have continued to come out to this day, all the way up through Baldur's Gate 3 and the newer Owlcat games. So let me break down what each of those genres are. First off, we have CRPGs, but specifically we play party-based CRPGs. It's a genre of video games that borrows mechanics heavily from tabletop gaming such as Dungeons & Dragons and attempts to adapt them for computer or console play. CRPGs create their own rules and mechanics at times, or they modify those rules from the tabletops in order to, facilitate that gaming experience, but they work hard to also maintain that feel similar to the tabletop games. Key features of CRPGs include a focus on character customization, progression, and making meaningful choices that impact the story. We focus on those with party to manage that utilize either a turn-based or a pause-and-play system. Examples of this include like the Goldbox D&D games. And actually, I got a graphic up for that here, so let me throw that up really quick. Haha, graphic! But we've got the Goldbox games you see here with Curses or Bonds, Scald, the Pathfinder games, and Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous, Tyranny, and the Baldur's Gate series, which includes 1, 2, and 3. All of these are CRPGs and will come underneath of our umbrella, and we'll get to all of these at some point. Now, the next category are turn-based blobbers, and let me grab those guys right here for you. Blobber is essentially just a first-person CRPG where you either move through the world on a grid or you're free roaming, but your party stays together, almost like a massive blob with many arms. Wizardry 1 from 1981 is considered by many to be the first blobber and the first commercial CRPG, really. Other examples include a lot of the RPGs from the Might and Magic series. Of course, the Etrian Odyssey series are very much a dungeon crawling blobber series. Mary Skelter Nightmares is something that you see a little bit more on some of the consoles, but it's also on Steam. And then finally, I'm just going to throw in Class of Heroes because it's a personal favorite of mine, and long story about how it's kind of the offshoot of the Wizardry games. And I'm very excited that they've decided to bring those to Steam lately because it was trapped on the PlayStation 3 for the longest. But these are just some examples of some blobbers, and there's plenty more where that came from. Then we have one more genre of games that we cover, and those are traditional roguelikes. Today, the term roguelite, especially roguelite, applies to a variety of games with procedural generation and a reset of progress with every death. The original Rogue, released also back in the early 80s, or maybe even the 70s, was a turn-based RPG that kind of started it all. Today, we use the specific term traditional roguelikes to refer to those games that are very much like the original Rogue. Strictly turn-based RPGs with grid-based movement, procedurally generated levels, and permanent death of the player character for the most part. And these, unlike the other two that we mentioned, these are usually focused on a single character. Doesn't technically have to be that way, but they're pretty much set up that way. Though Many of them will allow you to sometimes either get some followers or summon some other creatures or whatever, so it's not strictly single character. Examples of traditional relics are right here on the screen. You see Tales of Maj'Eyal, Adam, Mystery Dungeon, Mystery Dungeon type of games like Shiren the Wanderer, Tangle Deep, and Caves of Kood. And lately I've actually been playing Zorbus, so I couldn't fit it on the graphic, but that's another good one out there. So these are the types of games that you can expect us to cover here on the Proving Grounds. If you want to join, it's very easy. Just shoot me off a message. You can hit me up on email, jcservant316@gmail.com. You can friend me on Discord for an invite. Just friend JC Servant, just like it sounds, or spells out pretty much just like it's JCSERVANT, and just mention that you would like to join the Proving Grounds, and I'll get you right in. I'll also put some links down below for like the podcast and link to some more information about our little organization that we've got put together. We even have a list of all of the games. We have a spreadsheet of all of the games that we hope to get to. Because again, we cover everything from the super old to the super new. Primarily those things that can be played on PC, though. Every once in a while, we'll go off the beaten path for some console games because emulation is a thing and whatnot. But that's kind of the Proving Grounds in a nutshell. I hope that you will come and join us sometimes because we would love to have you there. And whether you're here for nostalgia, the challenge, or to discover hidden gems, you're in the right place. So join the Discord, subscribe to the channel, and let's explore these legendary dungeons together. This is the Proving Grounds.